Good morning and welcome to the Associated Guests. I am your host, Alphael Animus, here at the Bear in Mind channel. And sorry about the prolonged weekend. I went to visit family in another state. Had a pretty decent time. I'm not going to lie, I was surprised. There were a few full house moments. It was awkward. I was very uncomfortable. But, so today, we're going to have the truth about the No Kings rally. Which sides are lying to you? And the answer to that question, as always, is a little of both. And then maybe a little thing, UK professor claims Lord of the Rings is very racist. It's crazy. But that's all we're going to have time for this morning, and maybe a few X-Tinction level tweets. But let's go ahead and get started.
Millions of people across the country marching as we speak against the policies of President Trump.
There is some fake news going around. And I want you guys to know this because I see a lot of people sharing this, including senators. And that brings us to...
Hold on a second.
The No King.
Of course. Hold on, give me a second. Sound. How does that even happen? I haven't changed my settings. How are we doing now?
Kings.
There we go.
Debate. This was happening this weekend. No Kings.
Pardieu.
Just to be clear, I'm anti-king.
Well, Tulsa King.
Well,
It's a decent show.
Hey, he's a decent king.
I like Tulsa King.
okay, fine.
Yeah, and Burger King's also all right.
Not anymore, but
Exceptions don't disprove the rule.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
So as a general rule, I'm anti-king. So you'd think I'd be thrilled to No Kings protest. But here's the thing. Then I found out it was like the implication was that we have kings here. We have a king in the United States. And I'll just sort of give you three reasons as to why that is impossible, but then we'll get through it. Number one, we had an election, which you don't typically have with a king. Number two, before that election, we had this thing with Republicans called a primary.
What's that?
And our candidate...
And the primary was really weird. Like, he wasn't even there. The primary was literally amongst a bunch of people who ended up being part of his cabinet. But it kind of showed you the direction the country was going. They really, really wanted him in office, I guess. And it was just as much of a shit show as the previous DNC primary. Okay, not quite, but it was a shit show.
Won it.
Novel.
And he wasn't even supposed to. And then kind of point number three is, I would argue that we don't have a king. The fact that the silly No Kings protest was allowed to happen everywhere in the country.
Yeah, and in other countries.
Don't typically get to do that in a land of kings. You don't typically get to vote for your king and then protest him. I feel like this may be difficult to understand. We figured it out like a long time ago.
I'm your king. Well, I didn't vote for you.
Hey, yeah.
You don't
How you
vote
doing?
for kings.
I appreciate the follow. Thank you.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fake news surrounding this, and I will say some fake news on the right. We do have to fact check this a little bit and give you the correct information.
Thanks,
Please
Olivia.
do check the references. But here's a montage of all the No Kings protesters fighting tyranny freely in the streets, sucking.
No doubt Democrats and anti-Trump Republicans are riding pretty high
right,
after
that's a pretty
yesterday's
funny sign.
absolutely
I'm not gonna
enormous
lie.
No Kings rally.
I think what we saw yesterday was the rising up of the silent majority, and that term is always misused.
To me,
And it's being misused again here. I assure you.
Kind of hard to say that 7 million people across thousands of rally sites were insignificant, small, or not representative of America.
Democrats got a real jolt of energy on Saturday with the 7 million
Ask them for some.
people across America in 2,600 localities showing.
All right, so he said 2,500. I mean, it's not a bad showing. It's less than 3,000 per, and you know in the bigger cities, of course, they're going to have more. And in my hometown, as a city smaller than 80,000, had a few dozen. And oddly enough, just like most towns that I've been hearing, most of them were done by 1 o'clock.
Up for the No King's Day march.
There's about 2 million more people attended yesterday's demonstrations compared to the first No King's Day in June. They are two of the biggest single-day demonstrations mounted against a sitting president in American history.
What did you take from what we saw yesterday across the United States?
We don't accept kings in this country. And it was a powerful, powerful moment. You yourself, you know how powerful marches are and demonstrating peacefully. And so yesterday I was filled up.
That's a hell of a place to start.
What was his name? I'm sorry, I'm a child.
He was Kangs.
Oh. I thought that we don't want no Kangs.
I believe that's Scrubs, but I don't know. Pretty much, in case you're still not fully grasping it, it was a leftist hissy fit.
I will say a lot of those, like the puppets and the big mascots, and there was a lot of creativity on display, I will say. There was also a lot of very clearly, obviously, printed off signs handed off to people. But no, there was definitely a lot of creativity. Like the giant baby on a stick was one of my favorites.
Also,
it was hilarious.
Just,
it was
I don't know if you remember, they made a big deal out of the small, like the model. The model noose for it was
couldn't hang a pygmy.
Yeah, they said like it was back.
They said they were trying to kill
Mike Pence.
They're going to execute him.
Well, a lot of guillotines. I don't know if you saw this there at the protest. So not nearly as peaceful as you would think.
Oh, geez.
Guillotines were used for the kings, where they would behead them.
In France.
Yeah,
it was considered actually, which is fun.
Yeah, of course. I'll add you on Discord or X, but. No, and I agree with that statement. Yes, it was on January 6th. Yes, some people had the little nooses, the little ones, like the ones that they say were on the end of the NASCAR driver. It was one of those little eyelet pulleys that they put on the end. But yeah, they were little bitty. Some of them had them. I think one person had one as a necklace, which was weird. But the same thing with the guillotines at the No Kings rally. It was a bit much. And you can't really complain about one side doing something and then go and do the exact same thing. Same thing, I think he's about to get into the numbers lies. It's like, yes, the numbers are probably overinflated, but most people usually overinflate their side and deflate the other side. Not to the extent that the conservatives did on this one. Oh, my God. I think it's the next topic they're getting on. But, yeah, just make sure. Look, I know a lot of people hate the other side with some with some good reasons, but for the most part, most people just do it because it's what their side does, whether it's for or against. Just make sure you have your facts right, because if you have your facts wrong, or you trust something that you saw on Facebook or Twitter or anything else, and you don't fact check it yourself, don't trust other people to. Don't think, oh man, George. He knows the shit. I'm always asking him questions. He posted this. It's got to be true. George is probably a retard. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's hands down. He probably is. But just make sure before you post anything. I mean, unless you just don't care or whatever, or you're trying to cause chaos, I'm fine. I can get down with that. I understand that. I too have been 20 at one point in my life, but just. You know what I'm saying? Because all that does, and then someone else will pick it up the same way you did, and then it'll just spiral until now your whole side's a bunch of liars. Which it'll probably happen even without you, but you don't really want to add to that kind of chaos. Unless you do, in which case, again, I respect it, but you're going to see a lot of shit on fire.
It was considered the least cruel way to kill someone.
Right. Yeah.
It happened so quickly and so swiftly.
Well, not all
But the key thing is it still is killing.
Yeah.
So you saw a lot of that there at the No Kings, and they were allowed to do so freely. And of course, the media wants you to believe that this is huge. This is a grassroots movement, the likes of which we have never seen. And this clip actually about No Kings in Boston, a horrible city, went viral.
Look at this. Millions of people across the country marching as we speak against the policies of President Trump. This is Boston. Look at that. We'll continue to follow these rallies throughout
Boston's
the day
still touring?
here on MSNBC. Wow.
That concert looks great.
Wow. And next thing, like, this is Chicago. Saturday. in the park. Even Elizabeth Warren shared this on her X. She shared the footage. She said, Boston has been defying kings since we threw the tea into the harbor in 1773. Oh, really, Miss Warren? We threw the tea into the harbor? Really? We? Which one were you?
I'm not going to lie. I've been done with Elizabeth Warren since she called Bernie Sanders, of all people, a rampant sexist who said that women can never be president, even though he's been on video several times saying the opposite and has never been heard by anyone else. And then it turned out it wasn't something he said to her. It was something one of her little assistant aides or whatever overheard him saying, and she just said it as she heard it herself. The fact that they found out that it was not her that it was said to was enough to condemn the whole thing. Look, I know optics are a thing, but sometimes, especially if you're running for office where people want you to be honest to the people, I don't care what side you're on, you cannot lie. And if you do, you better not get caught, even with the little widest of lies, changing out yourself for someone else in another story. Biden was really bad about this. He would straight up tell other people's childhood stories and pass them off for his own. I actually have I got a whole little thing. I need to start sorting it better. I got a little trove of times that the last three presidents have lied. I'll give you a hint as to which one has the most.
Keep it over! One more crate! All right, ready! Get out of my way! Hey! Oh!
Well, I guess she was.
Stand corrected.
Yeah.
Admonishments if necessary.
That was going to be in Scrapyard, but we took a risk.
Thank you.
So there is some fake news going around. And I want you guys to know this because I see a lot of people sharing this, including senators. There was a claim out there that that image that you saw, the Boston image, was actually from 2017, right? The Boston Women's March. You're seeing a lot of people make this claim, and someone even manipulated kind of Grok into saying that the video came from 2017.
Yeah.
But
and that was the biggest thing. What you have to realize about AI, especially ones like Grok that are specific to a particular media source, a lot of the time, if enough people say it, Grok will take it as truth. That's why always Google, and don't use Google AI again. Google. Because these AI can be manipulated because they do take into account what people are saying, which is retarded. I'll never understand why that's a thing, but it apparently is. So yeah, if you and that's something we should really strive for. We should strive for making the weirdest, most ridiculous, silly shit go viral, and then let just Grok believe it by default. That's something we should strive for.
But the truth is, there's aerial footage that does show this actually is from the 2025 No Kings protest, and that was confirmed by the BBC.
And this is one of the few reasons why I actually have some kind of respect for Steven Crowder. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that he says, but when he does things like this, the fact checks, I don't remember what the segment's called. I apologize. But when he does these segments, at the very least, those are 100% fact-checked. And he uses mostly left-wing sources. That's one of the few reasons I respect him. Then he's kind of funny. Not when they're making, like, skits, but the whole Hitler thing from Thursday or Friday was pretty hilarious. When they were talking about the Republicans' tweets, they said, "I love Hitler," and the guy dressed as Hitler goes, "I love you too." But yeah, no, that's one reason I very much I got a bit of respect for him, because he will take conservative posts saying that there was really only half, if that, in the crowd in Boston that these were fake pictures from years before or whatever. Two things. One, the one that they said it was also an anti-Trump protest, and whether that's still not a good claim. And two, it's just a lie. I don't know. I'll never understand why people in these. I mean, I understand why they do. I wish they wouldn't.
See,
it's ironic.
Yeah. Do you have that as collage? Yeah. Was that the BBC?
Yeah,
right?
you
Okay.
have it, yeah.
Okay. Good. Sorry, it's on a small monitor. So a lot of people say, well, why do you trust the BBC? I don't. I don't just trust the BBC, to be clear, but I also don't just trust right-wing influencers, many of whom said that we should include and continue to keep Coca-Cola on Snap, and that we should have unlimited H-1Bs. So there is fake news. It is pervasive on both sides. You shouldn't trust the BBC. But here is a side-by-side of the MSNBC clip and a clip from local news. And it's important to note that there are some temporary installations along permanent, and you can see that the temporary installations are highlighted in this side-by-side. It does seem like this was pretty big and from 2025.
Millions of people across the country marching as we speak against the policies of President Trump.
Okay, so there's 3 points there.
Certainly, this is a massive event that's taking place here.
The same 3 points there. And then there's a fourth one over here. So yeah, unless these are just the same tents that they put for any demonstration here at any festival, then that's, yeah, so it's the same crowd. But even then, it's not an overly huge crowd for the size of Boston, but nobody thinks about that. All they care about is, oh, this isn't from this, it's from blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, now, that doesn't mean you should trust BBC or MSNBC, but again, the totality here. We also have another reverse angle from a drone shot, which...
And then especially, look, because I've seen a lot of, like, mainstream conservatives posting shit like this. You're killing your own argument. This is the same thing that I say about liberals these days. Half of what you're doing is destroying your own argument. Lying about it, especially getting caught lying about it, you should be able, especially as crazy as one side's being, you should be able to let the lunacy stand for itself. Not everyone on any side of it's completely complete lunatics, but there is a growing number on one side, and not the fun kind of lunatics where they dress up, but they are doing that, which is a lot of fun. But it's, and I do think it's funny that. That there are violent acts happening at some of these things, and not even just these, but the ICE protest. And people are like, "What are you doing that for? He's just in a cat costume or whatever." It does look funny when you take video or stills from some of these things. Now, albeit they are cutting out the scenes where the actual violent acts do happen, but it's just funny how you'll be like, "Oh, there were violent protesters," and you'll go and it'll be a bunch of people dressed as like cat dog or horses or some shit, or like people from the independent movie Hundreds of Beavers. If you haven't seen it, check it out on Amazon Prime. You're welcome. I'll just say that.
Seems to confirm it's real.
And again, you see the same 1, 2, 3, 4.
So this is important because the truth is enough. You don't need to lie. And we've talked. The example that I often point to is George Floyd. Comment below. How many of you believe that George Floyd robbed a pregnant woman at gunpoint? Yeah, that never happened.
Yeah.
Now, what did happen was George Floyd committed armed robbery and held a woman at gunpoint, and her toddler was in the house. I believe 3.
And that does matter. It doesn't matter what side you're on. Whether you think that Kyle Rittenhouse gunned down 3 black people in cold blood, or you think what actually happened, he was fleeing and shot 2 people who attacked him and shot a third, but that one didn't die, even though he was the most egregious attacker. The George Floyd thing that he just said, a lot of conservatives talk about how he held a pregnant woman at gunpoint. It's not true. He did hold a woman at gunpoint in front of her toddler, but the truth matters. And if you get caught in that lie, even if it is just substituting like the thing with Elizabeth Warren before, or in this one, you're putting the baby back in the mommy, and it sounds worse that way. You're lying. And it doesn't make your side look good. I don't care what side you're on. The lies when it comes to, especially mainstream political sources, especially the news, you shouldn't lie. And a lot of you'll say, but they don't lie. They just leave out the stuff that makes them look bad. That's lying by omission. That there's a term for that because it's a thing. Lying by omission is the same as lying. I don't care. And they all do it. Fox does it. MSNBC definitely does it. CNN does it. Whoever the other mainstream conservative sources, I don't know. The one that's supposed to be worse than Fox, those people, they definitely do it. It doesn't help anything. In fact, it makes it worse. Not only does it make your side look retarded, most of it's done to tear down the other side. None of it's used to bring us together. And if it was used to bring us together, would we really want to? It's like what was it? The Jussie Smollett thing, and that one crazy chick from The Talk said that Juicy Smouye was low-key noble for lying about a hate crime. That's not low-key noble. That's destroying your own argument. It's ridiculous. He did it for clout. He didn't do it for the movement. He didn't do it for anything. He did it for himself. And people propping him up as if he's some kind of low-key hero, it doesn't help anything. Because he didn't do it for you. He did it for himself. And it almost worked until it didn't.
3 or 4 years old. That's bad enough. The problem is the truth can't travel anywhere if a lie travels faster, and you do see some bad actors on the right do that because they go, oh, I have to get more clicks than the next guy. Let me just say this is fake. It's a failure, right? This whole thing has been a failure, the No Kings protest. We'll get into the funding. It is AstroTurf. But going out there and simply lying and saying that this is an old image, well, that embarrasses all of us. It ends up being a mark on us being the side that should be relied upon for truth. And I know that
I don't care
saying
which side
this is going to piss some people off.
Truth.
Just to be clear, I know people go, well, I'm not trying to do the bidding of the left. I'm trying to make sure that you are equipped with proper information.
And Republicans and Democrats, let me just say this. Your side, because we only have 2 parties in this country, and it sucks. While I don't agree with the parliamentary system, I do kind of like the way that they divide it up into more particular groups, and then they come together as they see fit. I kind of like that a little better. Because not only that, but it gives the chance to negotiate within the extremes and the more moderate sides of the party. We're never going to do that because there's too much money in consolidating it down to 2 parties. And then the ones that are represented by the hedgehog and that crazy chick. I do like Spike Jones, Spike Cohen. Whatever the guy who ran for VP with Joe Jorgensen. I like Spike. Spike's good.
Right.
I follow him on
and
Twitter.
clickbait does not lead us down the path of actually having accurate media. As a matter of fact, it disincentivizes that. So if you want us to continue calling balls and strikes and doing the investigative journalism and change my minds and all those things, please do consider, hey, join Rumble Premium. You click that button right there. Mug Club is Rumble Premium. They're one.
Anyway, guys, stuff like this. Look, I'm all for clickbaity, getting a rise out of people. I used to be I used to listen to Milo Yiannopoulos just because he was catty and it was funny. But stuff like this, if Rosie O'Donnell was drowning, what would you throw her? A life raft. I don't want someone to die just because they're an obnoxious C word. I don't. I don't want these people to die. And even though, yes, I think Rosie O'Donnell is a dipshit clout chaser who fled to Ireland and is now saying that she's trying to... oh, God, what was it she said? It was... she said... oh, shit, I'll just look it up. Hold on. But she was saying that she was standing up for people who can't stand up for themselves in our country. And I'm like, didn't you flee to Ireland with all your money? Rosie O'Donnell. Heart attack. Oh, that's sad. I don't want Rosie to die. There's too many good memories. No, not her net worth. I was just doing it for the spelling. I'll have to look up later. But no, she's look, I don't care what she says. I don't care what she does. I don't want her to die. I don't want people who disagree with me to die. I don't. It's not that deep. It's really not. Then, of course, Harry Sisson here. And then, like, yes, this is juvenile. Yes, I would rather the president not post shit like this. But you're at a No Kings March. And he's putting himself with a king hat on to, like, I see where the joke's coming from. Again, I would rather not have the president of the United States doing shit like this. But at least he's not shutting down all the things like a king would do. At least he's letting people do all the things, say whatever they want about him. Especially if it's true. Like I've looked up all the lawsuits on everything, and yes, the one with the the bald-headed pecker from the FCC. That one was a bit sketch, but I think that had more to do with the bald-headed pecker than it had to do with the man himself. But I've looked up him suing all these media companies, and most of them had to do with slander. It's just true. Again, point me out to something that proves me otherwise. But until then, just like anything else, you can't win with lies. You can win initially, but long term, you won't. You'll either get people who believe all these lies, and you'll get people on the other side who believe just as heinous, if not worse, of lies. And before long, neither one of you lives in reality. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Moving on.
One and the same, you still get this wonderful hand-etched mug. You get the whole thing ad-free. You get 100% more of this show.
Like this. Sorry, one more. The Frenchie here wants Nuremberg 2.0. For what? Honestly, for what? Stop comparing. Look, y'all raged when Gina Carano had the nerve to say that we were going that direction. Made sure she got fired, the whole mess. There is nothing that happened during this presidency that's anything remotely even close to anything covered in the original Nuremberg trials. I don't care. Have they done some fucked up shit? Sure. But what president hasn't? And that's not what, I mean, that is whataboutism, but lay off me with that shit. You cannot be okay with one side doing something and not okay with the other side doing something. You just can't. You're either a clout chaser, either a grifter like Candace Owens, or you're just retarded. Nobody can be all the way down party line on absolutely everything. Some people can. We call those people sheep. Again, I don't care if you're all MAGA all the time, all day, every day, or anti-MAGA none of the time, not ever, even if there's a fire. The only Republicans I respect are the ones that are like, I'd rather we didn't do that, or the ones who actively stand up and say, no, like anything that I'm pointing with my finger, like you can see, like this, anything Pam Bondi does. This woman is a dumpster fire, and no, it's not because she's a woman. It's because she's a dumpster fire. She's the one that botched the Epstein stuff. She's the one that's introducing stuff that the right complained that the left was doing, saying that it's a hate crime to hate on Christians and all this and that, and saying that some speech isn't protected. That's not... Look, when it comes to free speech, you're allowed to say whatever you want within a few things. You can't call for anyone to attack or murder anybody. But beyond that, you're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want and not have it not have the government intervene. I will say that's not what the Founding Fathers had seen when they did it, because I'm pretty sure there's been blasphemy laws in several states ever since, and up until I think the 60s or 70s, and I mean that was dumb, but those were on the books. But this is what separates us from most other countries. We do not. Every Christian, every religious person should have a secular argument for why they want the laws that they want. If you don't, then honestly, you really shouldn't be in politics. You should mind your own business. You should go knit. Wouldn't that be nice? Like Benjamin. Benjamin loves knitting, and he says Yahoo. Fuck off. That's funny. Anyway.
And like just thousands of hours each week of exclusive content. It's what allows us to do this. We are actually funded by viewers like you. We don't have to post clickbait and lies.
Oh yeah,
Let's
and
just be
also
honest,
go follow
lies.
me
And
on
I
Rumble.
always get really
That way
aggravated
I can
when I
finally
see
start
that.
streaming on there.
Because here's something else. The left is lying.
Because let's face it, Twitch is probably about to go bye-bye. Considering he's been called to Congress, considering all the stuff that happened at TwitchCon over the weekend, while all this other stuff was happening. Yeah, I don't know her name, but a girl got attacked at TwitchCon, and she's not the first. And if they're allowed to continue, she won't be the last. I will say, look, and one more sidebar. I'm not going to say any names because I don't want it to lead me back to Diddy bin Laden Piker. But the year before, she was attacked again, or another time. Her security guard intervened, and he was banned. Yeah, let's say that again. Her security guard intervened in this person attacking her on the floor, and the security guard was permanently banned for life from TwitchCon. You know what they offered to do to the guy who attacked her this year? Ban him from streaming on Twitch for 30 days. You can't make this shit up. Dan Clancy is an embarrassment and a retard, and he should not, especially if he clout chases so hard after Hassan Diddy bin Laden Piker. I know I said I wouldn't say his name for a couple of weeks, but damn it, it's news. And Dan Clancy, who's trying very much to look like Clancy Brown with the long hair and the scruff beard. It's not working, though. He looks like he ate marshmallows for 6 weeks. But the man he should step down, 100%. He's the one that gave the security guarantees. He's the one that has banned other people from bringing their security, saying that his security would be more than enough. And all his security did was come over, ask questions, laugh about it, and let the guy get away. I think he was captured some 3-4 hours later by accident, if I'm not mistaken. But I might cover that tomorrow. We'll see.
Or at the very least, they're fabricating things without any basis. So let me give you the narrative from the left. They're saying the protests drew 7 million people. Okay, and then you have another fake news sort of rebuttal coming from right, or they're saying on the right, well, actually, it was only 650,000. We spent a lot of time researching this morning. I'm going to tell you, both numbers seem to be pulled out of Don Lemon's ass. Like, both numbers.
Ooh, didn't take much effort either, so, yeah.
Yeah. We have no idea is the truth. I guarantee you it wasn't 7 million.
Well, the organizers said it was 7 million. At least that's what MSNBC, I believe, was the one citing the organizers say 7 million people. It's like, first off, who cares? People saw that there were large crowds of people out in cities across America made up of blue-haired old people or, whatever.
And that is the point. They were very sizable crowds. It certainly wasn't 650,000 across 2,500 sites across the country. And there were that many. They were in small towns. If you were in a big city, they were in every township that makes up your metroplex. The DFW area, I've got friends there. They said they were all over the place. Dallas, Fort Worth, all the little subsidiary, side cities there. They were everywhere. They were sizable. They were numerous. So the numbers are there. Whether or not it's inflated by, I think he'll get into some of the stuff later, so I'm just going to let him talk for a second.
For whatever. whatever you want to make of it. But
freaks.
If I'm a senator, before I put something out there, I'm like, well, does this matter? Okay, did they actually use this? What am I trying to say by they used a 2017 shot? That there were no people this year when they did something? That's exactly what I'm trying to infer. But that's not true. People saw people in the streets. Fine.
Yeah. Well, this is for the voter, the quote unquote undecided voter. They think, if we say 7 million people are doing that means it's a really cool event.
Yeah.
It's an idea that everyone's getting behind. It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Everyone is in agreement here. Aren't you in agreement? Aren't you cool? Aren't you one of us?
The left is the political wing of peer pressure. It really is.
Absolutely. And that's what that is, 100%. It's like, look how many people are into this. Why aren't you? You must be one of the bad ones.
And that's why you see the hemorrhaging take place so fast with the left. When they lose the peer pressure, when young men start veering right, the left has nothing left to use. And so then young men almost all veer right. Because the left tries, hey, everyone is doing this. Look at Green Day. Oh, you don't care about Green Day anymore. Look at MTV. Oh, you don't care about MTV anymore. Look at CNN, MSNBC. Oh, the average viewer is 72 years old. Look at Vox. Oh, you don't want to hear another lispy queer give you some fake history. There are still some people on the left. They don't have any other arguments. That's why they're governed by polls. It's why AOC and Bernie and Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris, they won't do interviews with anything other than an entirely friendly audience because their ideas don't stand up to scrutiny.
That part is true, and look, I don't like to compliment any politician really, except for Tulsi Gabbard's amazing takedown of Kamala Harris during the DNC primary. That was amazing. Also Andrew Yang, also a Democrat. He's fantastic, and I wish he would come back. He said a few screwy things over the years, but I still like him. And come on, it'd be awesome. But I will say that when it comes to this administration, at least, one, I want to see less Pam Bondi on TV. She is on TV entirely too much. She's not doing her job. She sucks at her job. But I will say the good thing. It's here, finally, I promise. Most of them are not afraid to go on the news sites from the other side. They do interviews from their opposition all the time. Say what you want, but you don't see that out of the other side. At least not for a long time now. It's been every now and then you'll get somebody. I know CNN's doing crossover. They actually have a Republican on one of their shows, and that's one of the only shows. It's 1 versus like 9, but still, it's there. And he's not just caving like the person from what was it, The View? The View. They have a conservative on there. But yeah, no, this is good. You should have people from opposing sides talking about things and maybe coming to some common ground. They never do, but the possibility's there. And that's what really matters. Look, while I'm paused here, I'm going to bring down the video from TwitchCon. This is what happened right here. He walks up, he just, it's horrible. Whoa. And then they just let him walk off. You don't see it in this clip. But yeah, it's terrible. And her name is Imaru, whoever that is. I saw she did a bit of a lowdown after this. And it doesn't look good, not for Twitch. It's kind of disgusting. And I didn't want to talk about either of these stories, but unfortunately, they're all that really happened over the weekend.
Now, we know what it was not. What is No Kings? Well, it was organized, managed by Indivisible, right? That's an organization. To be clear.
Before, yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty dividing.
That Indivisible is an organization, received about $3 million at least from Soros's Open Societies Foundation.
Uh-huh.
Some other sources for Indivisible, who, by the way, often claim to be nonpartisan, Democracy Forward, Democratic Socialists of America, Human Rights Campaign, which, funny enough, they never actually advocate for serious, more slaves on earth than ever. No word on that. Planned Parenthood.
I heard they were in trouble. I heard they were in financial trouble. They got money to donate now?
Yeah.
I thought I was supposed to feel bad for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
I thought I was supposed to be throwing a fit because abortions are going away.
No, but they have money to get some people on the street, and they clock out at exactly 1 o'clock, just to be clear.
Is that what those dings were when we were circling those buildings? Were those temporary abortion sites in Boston?
They could be.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
No,
that's kind of cool, actually. That's very metal.
The DNC convention. So.
And by the way,
I'm sorry. Look, if you're low capacity like the Krasensteins, don't participate. Like, one, this one looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. One, helicopters don't move like this at all. Two, you can see that it's not even coming directly from the source that it's supposed to be coming from. This was thrown together very shoddily. That one actually had it flying inside the building without flying inside. Have someone professionally do this. This looks like the CGI from X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's like they didn't want to spend the money on a real person, so he took a quick tutorial and did it himself. Second, they don't care. They don't care because these insults are very, very weak sauce. You're literally just doing the exact same thing that they did, and they don't care. All the Just Dance Vance memes, he eats that shit up. You're not going to out shit talk him. You have to find another way. I'm not trying to discourage on this. I actually want the left to learn how to fight back against people like this. Fuck, hire me even. Look, I don't like any of you, but I can definitely shit talk either side better than this. This is just sad. Is there music?
Don't think something. Oh my God! Get back inside! Go, go, go! The roof! My laser! Ruining everything! Keep moving! Keep moving! What is that? Coming down! Gross! You're dumping something! Oh my God! Get back inside! Go, go, go!
Did you do your own ADR? Just stop. The Krasensteins are terrible. I am going to clip this and use it for something later. But, oh my God, that's just sad, dude. And again, the same girl. If Gavin Newsom was drowning, what would you throw him? Is this all the content you do? I've seen you just recycling the same people over and over again. I would throw him a life raft. Or I would swing by on a jet ski and try not to boop him on the nose with it at full speed. Because I'm not a monster. I mean, of course it would be in my head a little bit. I would think about it. But just, I don't know. I don't know why I think people are above this kind of thing, but we really should be. Continuing.
You can check out, I do recommend Data Republican, who's been on this show. Data Republican has a thread on X that gives us a breakdown as to the funding, and also, by the way, helps fact check that the picture was from this sort of round of protests. But I will say, it's the big thing. I remember being on Joe Rogan's show a long time ago and him saying, well, you know, the pussy at the Women's March, it still was like the biggest event ever. And his guy, Jamie, argued with me. I was like, well, come on, this is astroturfed. Yeah. It still worked back then where it tricked Joe Rogan, and I believe it still tricks his producer, Jamie. I tried to make the case like, well, I was there. I was there on the ground. A lot of these people didn't even know what they were doing there. And now, obviously, it doesn't work nearly as effectively.
That is true, but I will say Steven Crowder got lampooned by Joe Rogan that day. It was just not even close. Steven Crowder was as close to the verge of tears as I had seen him, other than when that other thing happened a little bit ago. But this was a much less serious affair, but he was whiny. It was really sad, because I was really into both of them at the time. Yeah, that was just...
People who showed up were pretty much one of two categories. Either the nostalgic, hippie, sort of San Francisco retreads, the silver hairs who you see here.
Hi. This is what democracy looks like.
Oh, wow.
Hey, get away.
Oh, democracy is dying.
Well.
No kings. No kings.
Recently, with Charlie Kirk being assassinated,
He's a piece of garbage. Of course we were mean. I am so tired of people saying, oh, but, you know, it's a terrible thing. No, Hitler is dead. I'm glad Hitler's dead.
Okay, E. Jean Carroll.
Yeah, no kidding.
People's needs.
Charlie Kirk was
You know
not
the
Hitler.
former HHS
There was a lot of
secretary?
things. He had bad takes. He was nowhere near Hitler.
Let's get rid of
These people
the
are
liars.
lunatics.
Oh, look, it's one of the minions.
I was gonna say, it looks
I
like
thought it was
a
simple
minion.
jazz.
I think they're lying about democracy.
He's gonna go steal the moon. Look at him.
For the democracy, and not only that, it's not that they're the biggest liars.
Trying to get Gru to go back evil.
And therefore they're stealing government facilities to promote their propaganda.
See how long it's taking them to get through sentences?
Low energy.
Not a lot of people. The butterflies like butterflies.
Low energy.
Oh, there's the energy.
Oh boy.
It's the Savannah Bananas.
Oh, this guy.
It's your boy, Steven.
Oh, my guy from
The guy.
It's
on
your
Pierce
dog.
Morgan. Walsh.
Joe Walsh.
Yeah. He has the No Kings, and he also has Silence is Violence up in his bedroom where he broadcasts because he's more Republican than the rest of you.
Can't they just say no deportations? Like, at least that would be an honest thing that they're protesting. We don't want to deport anybody. The no king thing is just so ridiculous to me.
Well,
Trump is not acting anything.
And as much as I hate Gerald, I agree with that take. This should just be it should be a better tagged anti-ICE deal or something. The no kings thing is kind of a cringe statement. Mostly due to the fact that y'all had it in England and y'all changed it to no tyrants. You should have just made it all no tyrants or something. They had a no kings rally in Canada and they literally still have Prince Charles on the money. It might still be Elizabeth, but I know they have one of them on the money. It's yep.
Like
it'll get even.
I'm protesting gay sex.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pleased to let you know I still haven't had any.
Oh, there you go.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Good for you. You've had a.
I'm
You've had
protesting it for me, by the way, not for you.
No. Keep that run going. It's
Yeah.
good. And so you have.
Did you get your 3-day pin?
That was category A, and then outside of the San Francisco retreads, you had your typical leftist. We're not supposed to say, but freaks.
Freak.
Jeez.
Who are you gonna kill? Nazis. Who do you define as a Nazi?
Well.
What do you mean?
Kill that lice.
In this context, who's a Nazi? Stephen Miller's a Nazi. So you're gonna kill Stephen Miller?
Oh wow.
If I had a chance.
Grab a gun. We gotta turn around the guns on this fascist system. These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out.
Yeah, and shit like that.
That's a teacher, by the way.
I heard this fat lady
Was she
was
teach
fired.
physical ed?
She's an elementary school teacher. I believe out of Chicago, something like that.
Tear up the crown.
She's such.
Nancy Pelosi is very cringe. Not only is she the richest person to ever be in politics, who wasn't already rich before they came into politics. She's been in the same job for 40 years, 37 years, I think it is. What has she accomplished? Except for cringe moments like when they all dressed in African garb, but it turned out to be African slaveholder garb, which was just hilarious to me. Again, do your research, especially if you're in politics, especially if you're in the media that covers politics or a politician yourself. Don't get yourselves all dussied up in what you find to be the finest African garb, a bunch of white people, and it wouldn't have been so bad if it had been like all not white people or just maybe a couple whites and anything else. But come on. A bunch of white people in African slaveholder garbs was classic, and I will never forget that. So thank you, Nancy Pelosi, for that. But her in front of a community center here, in front of like nobody, probably, I don't hear anybody, tearing up a crowd. It's absolutely silly.
Retard.
And then these guys calling for violence. The one guy saying that people need to take up arms and go kill ICE people. It's ridiculous. John Cusack, come on, man. You're an actor. Don't call for violence in the street. Whoever that lady was before. Oh, no, that wasn't a lady. Sorry, that was a dude. But saying, would you join me in killing the Nazis? And then you say, who are the Nazis? And he just starts listing off politicians and people who are just in the news. For the love of God.
No kings.
What
Well,
is
it's
the
John
most,
Cusack. He looks like the Invisible Man.
upsetting headline for you? When you see something in the news, does it hit you in your gut? Does it hit you in your heart?
It's all upsetting.
Why?
Seeing sort of a fascist authoritarian, seeing that sort of cosplay that the right wing has been fooling around with
John Cusack, don't say cosplay when people are dressed up as animals around you.
for
Continue.
so long. Seeing it kind of devolve into the real thing is predictable, but deeply saddening.
Speaking of cosplay,
somebody paid for that to be printed.
That's true. Ice agents are bugs?
So that was Uncle Sam hitting ICE agents with a big mallet.
Yeah,
and they were bugs.
They gnats. They're supposed to be lice.
Lice.
Oh, lice.
Like lice?
You don't hit lice.
Like lice. Like
Or is
ice is lice. Like ice is lice.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder why it didn't change any votes.
That's our tax dollars right there.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Also, something that I find really funny, there, like no kings. You've been told like it was international, which makes you believe that it was less AstroTurf. It was international. So they had no kings in Europe. No, they had to change the name because there are actual kings.
Yeah.
So they changed it to.
Oh, we don't want to upset the king now, do we?
Yeah. We respect the crown. No tyrants. Yeah.
He's a friendly king.
No.
Okay, so here we are. You have him in Malmo, Portugal, Madrid, London, Amsterdam, and Austria. There was no tyrants there. Why are you having an American protest in these other countries? Just why? Okay.
Oh, dictators. Yeah.
I guess these are the only ones that.
He's one of the good ones.
Hey, what would be another word for tyrant? I'm not going to play that game with you. Yeah. Let's just leave it at no tyrants.
Sort of a monarch type, you know.
Yeah, in Canada, it's like you still have royalty on your money.
Yeah.
We had a primary.
That's embarrassing, dude.
We actually had a primary here.
Yeah.
And
well, one side did.
Yeah, exactly. One side did.
Trump is just so good at trolling these people. He is so good and gifted at trolling them because everything they said when he thought he was cheated, when he literally thought an election was stolen out from under him, he left office, he got on Marine One, and he went on his merry way. And he has got them so fixated on this that they can't see.
And speaking of primaries, I think I said it. I might have said it last week, or maybe I just said it to some family over the weekend. But I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, they didn't need a primary. She was his VP. When he stepped down, it was up to her." I would have been okay with it, and I would have thought it was hilarious if Biden not only stepped down in the election, but technically that would only be an argument if he stepped down from the presidency himself, which would have been hilarious because they already had all the 45 and 47, all the 47th president merch lined up. So it would have been funny if you just made her the president. Like he stepped down from the presidency and made her the president for a few months. And she would have been technically the 47th president. And then Trump's people would have had to go through and redo all the merch. Wouldn't have cost a whole hell of a lot, but it would have cost enough to kind of be a slap in the face. But I understand why they didn't do that because it would look a certain way, and I know that they don't want the first female president by default that way. They want to actually earn the election, which I can respect on that too. But I just think it would be funny if they had done that, and he would have had to rebrand all of his merch to 48. It would have been classic.
Anything else that he's doing, it seems. This guy already had the opportunity to be a king.
Yeah.
He just didn't. He just left and walked away.
Here's a genuine question. A genuine question. And I've asked this before, but I want to frame it in now. Let's really be specific. Assuming that you are a citizen of this country or a legal, let's say, green card holder. Okay, you are a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen of the United States. All right? Whether you're a Democrat or Republican. It's October 20th, 2025. What part of your life feels ruled by a king? That's a genuine question. Now, I will tell you this. Under Barack Obama, and certainly under Biden, under Barack Obama, I didn't like that, for example, we saw increases in marginal tax rates across the board. I didn't like, for example, that the IRS was used to target those in an actual organic grassroots, or the Tea Party. And the difference between No Kings and the Tea Party was formed, the modern Tea Party, under people who are new. You might want to go back and look at this. There was a rant from Rick Santelli regarding the giant, unprecedented spending bill and the taxation that would follow from Barack Obama. And there were protests, and these protests led to picking candidates for the midterms and a red wave. I didn't like that Barack Obama used the IRS to target political opponents. I didn't like that Barack Obama and Democrats tried to go after gun owners. I didn't like that. I didn't like that under Joe Biden, right, they advocated for lockdowns and vaccine mandates and tried to eliminate your options as far as homeschooling. Yeah, I didn't like that they wanted to make the SUV that would keep your family safer unaffordable through eco taxes. I didn't like.
I mean, I was 50-50 on that one, just because a few things are more terrifying than a white suburban mom careening through a stoplight while texting in an SUV. But that might just be in my hometown. Comment below. Let me know.
The Department of Misinformation that was designed to silence you for speaking out against the government. I didn't like that practicing doctors during COVID were eliminated from Facebook, back then Twitter, YouTube, all at once. I didn't like that Alex Jones, whether you agree with him or not, was deplatformed at the behest of the government. I didn't like that Jen Psaki called on Spotify to remove Joe Rogan. I didn't like
and these were all things
that the administration said that it's a great evil to not allow your children to take puberty blockers or go through a sex change, and that it was the government's job to take the children away from you and raise them. I didn't like those things.
That did happen in some states.
I didn't like that people were arrested on the beaches of California for surfing because of COVID. I didn't like any of it. I can tell you how our lives were affected.
Like, I can understand, and I know it's been 5 years, but I can understand arresting people for trying to go to places indoors or in congested places like farmers markets, but the beach was just dumb.
Can you give me any examples? Assuming you're a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen, you might be in a state where you can't abort up until and including birth, taxpayer-funded period, right? You might have to drive to another state if it's after 10 or 12 weeks. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one, feminist whores. Any others?
Jesus.
Any others?
That's a bit much, dude.
I literally
you can't overstay your visa anymore.
Okay, but again, we're applying to law-abiding, tax-paying citizens.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I can't think of one. People say, "Oh, students being..." No. Students.
Guys, again, Newsom. It's not even as good. Why would you do like? And Marjorie Taylor Greene's been on your side for a lot of stuff lately. It's literally, is it the same music? Okay, it's shittier music. It's a crappier AI. And it's just implanting shit dropping over images that already exist. Nothing's happening. They're not having any effect on them. Like just do better. Just because you have this retard, Gene Trevino, whoever that is, saying that it's epic and funny as hell, it's just not true. I didn't even really think the one that Trump did was that funny, but at least it was well done. Like this shit is... This is just cringe, man. Like, look, Gavin Newsom, you probably have the best shot of running for president, sure. But once people see how much of a cowardly retard you are, like, you've completely ruined your state. You've definitely ruined your hometown. But you're just not good at anything besides sleeping with your best friend's wife. Or was he like one of your staffers, your head staffer's wife? And fucking shit up. Like, you'll literally not do something. Like when Trump came to your state, and said y'all should do this and this to the forest to make sure the fires don't happen. That's true. You are supposed to pick up debris and make what are called fire lines and keep those properly maintained. You cut those fundings several times just because you didn't want to do something that Trump said you should probably do. You should have been doing it anyway. But you cut even more funds from them. These are facts. That's ridiculous. You should not condemn your own state to spite a president that you don't like. And I understand why you don't like him completely. Because he does shit like this. But you can't condemn the fact that Trump does stuff like this and then do it yourself in a little less shitty manner. Or in a less good manner. I guess I should have said shittier manner. It's early. Okay, I've only had one cup of coffee. But this stuff's ridiculous. Look, I don't even like you, and I know you're better than this. I would hope. If you want to defeat the next the wave of this shit, you should do better. Definitely.
On student visas being here, defacing buildings, supporting Palestine, Hamas. They're not law-abiding citizens. They are here as a welcomed guest, and they materials from hostile nations, individual rights. And all
right, he's not talking about the subject anymore. I don't know why it's really in this video, but look, and I know I've gone on tangents, and I only had time to talk about the one thing, but it was a long weekend, and I had a long time to think about some stuff. But look, when it comes down to it, you're never going to agree with a lot of the things the other side does, and I really do hope that once Trump is out of office, the old-fashioned way, he runs his term and then gets out. Healthy and whatever, just like any other president. I think it's sad that Biden was very clearly suffering from this cancer that he apparently has during his presidency, and they didn't have him treated officially because they didn't want him to appear weak or whatever, or look like he was about to hand it over to Kamala Harris for optics or whatever. I think it's fucked up. As much as I don't like Biden personally, you don't want to see that kind of shit. You don't want to see someone suffering, no matter how much of a flagrant asshole he is, saying things like, if you don't vote for me, you're not black, and then all the other stuff. I actually have a compilation of shit that he said on air as well. That man was actually a racist. That man is everything that Malcolm X warned about the Democratic Party. Not saying that the Republicans are the answer. I really do think we should go more towards not the parliamentary system, perhaps, but maybe having that many formal, official parties, moderates, and don't call them extremists, but the more extreme wing of the party, and the people who are traditionally either side, and then the moderates. And then the people who agree, yay, gay marriage, but also gun rights, and also weed, and also this, and also... Again, if you are strictly party line, you're kind of a sheep, and you don't really have any thoughts for yourself. Like, there are going to be a few people who believe that because people believe different things. But to see the percentage of people who wake up in the morning, their head leaps off the pillow, and then either they look straight away to see what Trump thinks and then believes that or the opposite every single time, you're a dipshit. And I hope someday you come to have thoughts of your own. Any normal person, your average person even, or even just most people in general, will agree with any president at least once. or just disagrees with all presidents equally. But the fact that I've seen people change their opinions mid-stride because they found out that a particular person held the same opinion on that subject as they did, and they didn't want to have anything to do with that person. Part of me, the anarchic asshole that hides in my soul, really wants Trump to come out in favor of all hard left Antifa type policy. I want him to come out pro-trans. I want him to come out pro-everything. Just to see what's going on with people. I want to see if all the Republican memes are true. If they'll really flip-flop on all their opinions, on all that they hold dear. The same way I thought it would be funny if Joe Biden had stepped down and made Kamala Harris the 47th president and made Trump's people have to pay for all that merch again. I love a little bit of chaos. And sometimes I'm just like, we're kind of fucked anyway. So let's see what's going on. Let's see what we can't make happen. Let's see if we can't reset, send us back to default settings, and maybe start from scratch. I would never actually want to do that because the amount of people who would die, probably including me, it would be overwhelming. To switch over to some of the forms of government that some of these people want to do, it's not going to happen. This is where I've fallen off with the left, when they wanted to hand the same government that they don't trust already full authoritative control over everything, but they want it to be authoritative on their terms. That never works out for anybody. It just doesn't. I'm sure that's what a lot of people in these other countries thought at some point too. And they handed all executive power, all legislative power, all judicial power to one or a handful of people. And we all see what happens after that. Bread lines. Bread that costs ridiculous amounts of money, like $500, $100, whatever. And wages don't go up. But anyway, look, I know this kind of took a turn, but a lot of this stuff's been bothering me for a long time, and I don't know. I try to stay optimistic. I'm a fairly optimistic person, believe it or not, but sometimes it's just like, I don't know. You look at things, and you see like X. I'm glad I took off from X over the weekend. I popped on like once. But it's, hold on. What's this? Hold on, sorry. Anna Kasparian. A woman sicked her dog at me this morning as I was walking my dog. When I asked what was going on, she regurgitated lies propagated by an ongoing propaganda campaign carried out by whoever that is. I will be addressing what happened more this morning on TYT. Interesting. What the fuck did Nuck say? Thank God you survived Israel's Mossad attack. Dogs, apparently, they equip them to vicious Karens to destroy their enemies. We haven't faced a threat like that since 9/11. I pray. Dude, Nux is a better shit talker than me. Look, well, I think it's fucked up because Kasparian's been kind of the voice of reason on the left of late. You gotta admire the man's ability to shit talk people. He would probably make me cry, and I'm pretty solid when it comes to. But anyway, but yeah, that's all I got today. Sorry, but I'll be back. I'll probably be on tonight for like an hour to stream some more of Outlast. And then I'll hop on, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for the Wednesday show. We'll see what we have then. Hopefully nothing too crazy.